Welcome to From the Couch Sports Talk Radio. It is Wednesday Football Roundtable. I am your host, Sean. I am joined by Dave, KD, and Eric. Leave some women for the rest of us with. How you doing, baby?
Hey, good. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's going,
David,
man.
how you doing?
Hey, I got to ask, Eric, is that like a Woody from Toy Story costume or something you're wearing? What the hell's up with that?
No, I've got I threw on, guys, 95 degrees today. I lost about 10 pounds out here, slaving away in the heat here. But I threw on what I could throw on, so I've actually got a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt on right now.
We live in this shit. Me and Sean live in this, dude. It's not like, this is normal. I don't get it. Man.
Yeah, it is. It's normal. So look at my man down here styling. First of all, I want to say the most happiest of belated birthdays to Jennifer, one of our longtime listeners, Katie's wife. Happy birthday! And look at you. What? Can I ask Jennifer what it's like to be married to such a stud? Look at him. Boy's got more drip than after I got out of that whorehouse in Las Vegas last week.
Whoa!
Hey! I thought you were gonna say like Iran or something. I don't know. It's too early.
Damn.
Hey! Look here, Eric. Stop your whining. Wah. It's one day out of the year is 90 degrees in Indiana. Stop crying. You'll be okay. You could be out here in Colorado where you get 92 degrees weather, and then 10 minutes later is a hailstorm. You want to be a part of that?
The last week up here it's been 94, and I'm outside working every day, and you don't see me. It's 95 degrees.
I am proud of you though. At least you tapped a little bit into your swag. You got a Dragon Ball Z shirt on instead of Steelers gear. So.
Wow. The nerds of the planet unite and moisten. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump into the news of the week. Tragically, Chandler Jones, 33-year-old former NFL and CFL player, died in a car accident. It's being 54 years old. It's like you hear about these people dying, and it's like, damn, they haven't even lived. So he was a good damn player too, real good player, and I got sucked in on one of the little things that said, "Oh, look at this accident with him," and it showed a cop hitting his car, and there was no chase going on. The cop was just going 80 miles an hour, but that wasn't it. So if anyone saw that, don't take the bait.
And it also wasn't the Chandler Jones that was an all-pro defensive end, and it's not the same Chandler Jones, but
yeah, he was a wide receiver.
Yeah, NFL memes tries to make it like more sensationalized than it is. Yeah, not that the death isn't a tragedy, whether it's the all-pro Chandler Jones or the other Chandler Jones. Loss of life is sad all the way around. So, and so that's upsetting. And so,
yeah. A quick question for you, David, before we go on. I'm going to get to KD on this, but are we on Facebook and YouTube or just YouTube?
I think just YouTube, because when I went on here earlier today, the StreamYard sharing to Facebook was down. So I don't know if Jeffrey got that fixed.
Okay.
So it is
All right.
just on YouTube. But again, I shared it to all the Facebook group pages. So all they have to do is click on that page and it should come up and the comments should flow. So
Okay. Good. All right. So, Katie, any thoughts on this on Chandler Jones?
Yeah, we talking about the young man from San Jose State, right?
mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, look, listen. For anybody that tries to diminish the heartbreak or whatever because a guy didn't reach a certain pinnacle, shame on you. Because this young man was loved by some community, whether it be via football, whether it be his biological family, whether it be where he went to church, where he worshiped, wherever it may be, he was loved by somebody. And for him to lose his life abruptly like that, and something that seems so routine, is crazy to me. It's still crazy to me. And hearts and prayers are out to all people involved, because again, you don't want to ever get that phone call or either that notification that, hey, something has happened to a loved one, especially at this young of an age. When it comes down to him being 33 years old, you just seem. I know all of us are over 33, and that's just crazy to even think about. A young man losing his life the way he did. Because I can almost assure you, he didn't get in his car behind the wheel of a car and say, you know what, hey, let me go out and lose my life right now. So again, just make sure you guys are really cognizant of when you're out and about, because some things that seem so routine are rather not routine when it comes down to it, because some stuff could be waiting around the corner for you. So again, just take your time, don't be in a rush, and again, just try and be as safe as possible as you can be. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he may not have reached the pinnacle in the NFL, but he did reach the pinnacle in the CFL. And he won the cup. So, that's pretty impressive. And he really kicked ass in the CFL. Eric, do you have any thoughts on
Yeah.
Chandler Jones?
So life is precious, right? And I everything Katie says is correct. So when I've got 60, whatever we got, 60 kids every day, I'm reminded that it's a blessing to be able to be out there with them every day. That things could take a turn for the worst at any point. A bus can get stuck on a tracks, or a truck can flip. Things can happen, right? And so it's terrible for me to imagine even my non-impact players not being there. Okay, because I have relationships across the board. I'm there for the development of the kids in life, not just to win football games. So I feel for that family. It super sucks. It's a reminder, my own struggles in life, their struggles in life, that to enjoy the good things that happen in life, to focus on the positives, right? Because if you don't enjoy the moment can pass you by, and you could not be here. And that that life is all about those moments, right? I always talk about the weighty moments, but my true weighty moments in life are my relationships that I enjoy, the good times I enjoy with my players, with my kid, with my family, etc. And I try to do everything I can, whether it's a recent procedure or whatever, to make sure I can have more of those weighty moments. I'm really sad he can't have those weighty moments with his family and with his community anymore. So I feel for him, and I hope we hear less and less about those kind of stories on a daily basis.
All right. And talking about relationships, looking at Katie and Eric, how's that going? I mean, look at, you're dressed alike. I mean,
I know.
what's going on there?
It looks like the Barney auditions. I was like, which one makes the best Barney?
Hey, I would never dress like that bald-headed guy from Indiana.
Hey, listen, I give Katie some shit, and we disagree, but I aspire to be half the coach he is, because I've taken a lot of the lessons that he's taught and a lot of the shit he's shared with me, and it's not shit, it's actually good stuff, but a lot of the stuff he's shared with me, and it's made me a better coach. I'm not half the running back coach I am if it's not for having some of the conversations with the guy next to me down on the screen here.
Hey, look. You know what? You're my constant decompression, Eric. Just when I think I got it so shitty in life, I just get on here and look at your picture of you, or
Took like a huge drink of beer.
or I think about, I could be a Steelers fan right now. So hey, no, but all jokes aside, no, back at you, man. Look, I only know what I know because I listen to people, and most of the time, people that are totally different than me, because you need that different perspective, and I really appreciate you bringing that different perspective. No matter how homer you are, it is indeed a different perspective. So we kind of need that in our grounding in life. So.
Hey, before we go on, Sean, I have to make a little bit of an announcement. This is kind of like an anniversary because it was 5 years ago in June of 2020 that myself and Jeffrey were first introduced to KD Arrington. I was driving back from Seattle, Washington. I had gone out to visit my son. And me and Jeffrey had our first phone conversation with KD in the middle of June on my way home. And today, of all days, I believe it was KD's very first From the Couch Sports Talk Radio appearance 5 years ago, June 25th, 2020. So happy anniversary, KD.
There you go.
Woo! Fuck yeah, buddy.
I just wanted to give him another excuse to drink. Not that he needs one, but hey.
He don't need no excuses.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
Look at it. Look at it. Man's too smooth. All right. So, okay, let's go on to the next order of business. We were not on the air last week because David was sick and he lost his voice.
Oh, my God.
Now we're all feeling sick because we can hear his voice.
Yeah, it would have been funny last week, guys.
No bullshit. Tell the truth. Dave went and got a BBL.
No, dude, it would have been. It would not have been a good. It would not have been a good thing last week.
Hey, I heard you got some like LED lights and it's like warm. Hey, when the temperature.
Look at what's behind him. He's got pink sheets and O.J. Simpson. You know you could probably take those sheets and crack them in half over your knee.
Yeah, I have to talk to my son and tell him to make his bed better.
There you go. All right, so here we go. Eric, here this is for you. We were not here last week. We couldn't make the official announcement, but Aaron Rodgers has signed, and he has also kind of said that this will be his last year as a quarterback. Where does this leave the Pittsburgh Steelers?
7-10.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I think they're going to be a lot better than 7-10. So where does that leave them? I think they're going to be better than last year, just like they were better than the year before. But where does that lead them total? I mean, we'll see where. I think he's going to want to go out not shitty. So I think him being out, last ride kind of thing, means that's going to be a little extra motivation for his legacy because he knows he's not going to be playing beyond this year. But, I mean, they've got a decently tough schedule and a decently tough division, so a lot of things can happen. I think I think they're going to be all in. I think a big move's coming. Whether it's a tight end or a receiver, it's going to come here in the next week or two. But beyond that, we'll see. I think the goal here is to try to win and try to win now and then blow it up with Cam Hayward leaving and with TJ Watt aging. I think this is the last hurrah before a rebuild coming.
Well, I hear the Cleveland Brown fans in the background all happy about Aaron Rodgers. I think what Myles Garrett said it best. This is the best way to send him into retirement. So, I'm glad the Browns fans showed up for that announcement.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to ask a question to KD and to David. Just doesn't really matter what Aaron Rodgers does. I mean, what he's done the last two. There is his legacy is really already. Is his legacy cemented or is it not? Katie, your thoughts?
I mean, it depends on who you're asking. Because if you ask the old timers, if you ask the old timers like us, we're going to obviously say no. He does not belong up there in the conversation with multiple Super Bowl winners. It does not belong in the conversation with the guys that we believe. Hey, if we were coming down and being abducted by aliens, we would be forced to tell the Aaron Rodgers story from the NFL quarterback perspective. And the answer is no. To be honest with you, like we can try and make asterisks about him, about his touchdown to interception ratio and all that good stuff. That's cool, right? But when it comes down to being the face of a league, being the best quarterback consistently, he had a couple of years in there to where he was unequivocally probably top 2 quarterback or even the top quarterback, but it wasn't for a long period of time. So for me. Yeah, he got the 1 Super Bowl, but everything else has kind of been, a shortfall, if you will. Now, I will give him his credit. He did get to the Super Bowl. He did have multiple 10-win seasons as a quarterback. He was the guy, the face of the Green Bay Packers for quite some time. He lived up to the legacy that the quarterbacks in Green Bay have lived up to, if you want to call it that, because he brought a Super Bowl to them. But when he didn't win that Super Bowl, what else did he do? He was known for getting to the big game and falling short. So I just don't see you can't do too much more to the legacy because that legacy is still, again, if you ask somebody, is not really cemented as a top 5 all-time quarterback to me.
Well, and to Katie's point, I agree with what he said. And again, I think the biggest problem that I have with Aaron Rodgers is, yes, he's won multiple MVPs. He won a Super Bowl. And, if you go by our friend Eric's definition, that is a weighty moment, Hall of Fame caliber quarterback who's, top whatever 5-10 in NFL history. The problem that I have is, number one, I think Aaron Rodgers diminished his legacy over the last 2 or 3 years, but more importantly, over the course of the last 6 or 7 years where he was competitive, he's been synonymous with, I can do everything in the regular season, and then I'm a first-round playoff exit guy. When I get to the playoffs, I am where I'm at, and to Eric's point, he talks about all the quarterbacks who can't get to that, who he talks about all the quarterbacks in weighty moments, and having one weighty moment as a Super Bowl winner or whatnot, you take that one weighty moment and then just discount the 10 other non-weighty moments? Does one weighty moment of winning a Super Bowl discount every other thing that you had in your possession and failed to achieve? So, I think had Aaron Rodgers retired 2 years ago after his stint with Green Bay, didn't try to go to the Jets to prolong his career, and of course an injury always, the Achilles injury plays a key role in that, obviously. So, and the fact that we said a quarterback at 41 coming off an Achilles is different than a quarterback at 21 coming off an Achilles injury. The fact that he's trying to prolong the inevitable, I think it tarnishes or diminishes everything he's accomplished. The only way that will not happen is if Pittsburgh overachieves and does, what a lot of people are thinking are unthinkable and making the Super Bowl, and if he wins. Other than that, I think he tarnished his own legacy. Aaron Rodgers is truly one of the best quarterbacks that played, from a statistical point, from all those things that Katie said. But I think the longer you try to hold on with less capacity to do it, and again, I want to see how he plays because it's going to be 2 years coming off of his Achilles. So will we get a return to form of what Aaron Rodgers was prior to the injury? Or are we going to get the same Aaron Rodgers from last year who played for the Jets and they went 5-12? So that's what I want to see.
So Sean, I get just an extra second because Dave took like 10 minutes assaulting my viewpoints.
No, I was not trying to assault your viewpoints.
Well, I mean, just be fair. I mean, it's a challenge. So I'll explain.
Just talk through them, Eric. Don't listen to them. Just talk through them.
So listen here.
One step at the hole.
Okay, listen here. So the Jets are historically not and I know Sean doesn't want to hear this, not a great franchise at winning games. Okay, so ideally, the year before he had the Achilles injury, then he was playing okay at Green Bay. He wasn't playing terrible ball when he left Green Bay. So now, he looks at it like I would be the same way. If I walked away from a season at 1-9 and I said, I'm done coaching, man, that would leave forever a bad taste in my mouth. I couldn't, as a competitor, walk away from having a terrible season. Okay, when I walk away, I want to make sure I walk away and I leave it better than I found it. So he's coming in for his career to leave it better than he found it last year. He's trying to compete and have one last hurrah. And now he's in a situation where, again, the Ravens are really good, okay, with Derrick Henry, who's at the top of his game, and Lamar Jackson as two really good threats as much as I talk shit. So, but he has an opportunity. There's enough pieces there if things happen where he could be competitive and they could make a small run. I mean, are they Super Bowl favorites and would they be overachieving if they won the Super Bowl? Absolutely. But is it unrealistic to say they can, after winning 10 games last year, 10 the year before, that he couldn't play better QB and win 11 or 12 games? I don't think it's unrealistic. I think he's got an opportunity, especially if they swing big and add another weapon there. I think they're with that defense and another potential weapon for him to work with. I think offensively they could be a lot better than you think they could. And, he had 28 and 11 and completed 66% of his passes. So, again, he did his job. Okay. So the other people let him down, and I honestly and I didn't watch a lot of him, but I did watch, some of his receivers. I think Garrett Wilson had a rough year last year. And I think that was part of the problem on that offense was I think he let them down. So whatever happens, okay, to him, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a top 20 quarterback. And being a top 20 quarterback in the NFL is a great accomplishment on itself. Okay. Being top 5, people throw Brett Favre in there. They throw Dan Marino in there. They throw these guys that, in clutch time never got it done. Okay. So to say, well, he only has one Super Bowl and yada, yada. Okay. Well, quit coming at me with the Dan Marino stuff then. Okay. Because he's got the MVPs and he's got the passing titles and he's got the Super Bowl. Okay. So I think ideally he's definitely above some of these other guys that we're thinking about.
Well, that was going to be the next question I asked real quick to go to everyone. Then we're going to move on to the Ravens. But is Aaron Rodgers a first ballot Hall of Famer? And it's simple, yes. And if it's no, a minute on why he isn't. I'll start with you, Dave.
Yes. No debate. Yes. No debate.
KD?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Okay. My only thing is Eli Manning wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he won 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots. So anyway.
But I will just say Eli Manning had flashes in seasons. Aaron Rodgers, I give the devil his due. I don't hate Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, okay? We give Eric shit just because. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers has been a pillar of consistency throughout his entire career. With the exception of his injury year and then the following year, he has been a consistent top 5 to 7 quarterback in the NFL from the first time he actually started a season. So I'm not questioning Aaron Rodgers' talent, ability, anything like that. So yeah, definitely first ballot.
Dave, you said 1 minute, so just so we're clear, my guy.
I did 1 minute.
There. You took 5 minutes there. You and Jeff's minute are just New York minutes, I guess. But as far as Eli Manning, I think he should have been a Hall of Famer, and I think he had a great playoff run that was historic. And I think, if I remember right, and don't quote me, I'd have to look the stat, one of the best statistical playoff runs of all time when he won that first Super Bowl. So, I mean, he's not. He should certainly be. I think in the top 100 quarterbacks and in the Hall of Fame.
I think Eli's going to make it in the Hall of Fame, and I'm hoping it's this year. But anyway, he didn't have to go to loaded teams like his brother did to win.
Well, I was going to say his curse was his last name was Manning, and they measured him against Peyton.
He was with the fucking Giants, and he beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, especially that 2017 team, or
Sure.
what was it, 2000, whatever.
Well, I'm just saying his curse was last name being Manning.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So.
All right, so KD, I'm going to have you take it for a little bit because the Ravens had a hell of a pickup if he stays healthy. And, I watched a little bit of the sit rep. Can you just talk about a little bit about the Ravens, what they've done and where they're heading, please?
You want to talk about all the moves or just this last one?
You got 5 minutes to talk about whatever the hell you want.
Okay, well, I want to talk about these tariffs that we're supposed to be paying. No.
Oh shit! Here we go.
No,
we got two conservatives, a liberal and a libertarian here. Like this is what you see every day.
All right, so yeah, so my thing is, I just want to see him healthy. Like they talked to his father, and his father said, he has a better bill of health going forward. They did say Green Bay kind of slow played it when it come down to what they thought it was, and they thought like, hey, okay, you can kind of play your way out of it. Whatever the wording was, it allowed him to keep playing, and he should have sat down, and he kind of prolonged the injury for more than a year. Now, that's to no fault of Green Bay because I'm pretty sure the player himself was probably saying, hey, look, I can go, yada, 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 and so forth. But you as a coaching staff, you got to kind of come in and fight these players off from themselves because I think that's what this case was. And one of those injuries, this particular injury, lingered on a little bit too long. And I just feel like if he don't even have to be fully healthy, right? Just give my magic number was 10 games, right? Because I'm looking at what he's done recently. If you can give us 10 games, and that's including the playoffs, if you can give us the playoff ride along with 6 games in the regular season, and in those 6 games, you can give us anywhere from 45 to 75% of the snaps, I'm okay with that. Here's the reason why. It is because this is a luxury player to have on the roster for what we got him for. Getting an all-pro corner for $4 million, regardless of the injuries or whatnot, is still absurd. It's crazy that it happened like that, right? Now, the Ravens were smart with it is because everything I'm talking about is they incentivized it to where if you play more snaps, if you're available more games, you get an exit. You could be up to another $2 million, so it can balloon to $6 million. And then we all know if the Ravens like what he's put out in this particular year, he can look for a 2 or 3 year extension coming right off of it. Because again, the relationship between him and Lamar Jackson is crazy because you can see that when they greeted each other, you can see Lamar Jackson over the moon for this type of player to come into the locker room and him willing to share it with them. Not so much of, hey, just because it's my one of my homeboys, but from what he brings to the table. Because we know if he's healthy, hey, he can influence the games when it comes down to defense. And then the last part about it is what I like about him, he gives the defensive coordinator Zach Orr another tool, another piece to use schematically to where now, hey, okay, look, if I want to have the cornerback take the deep thirds and not be out on the island, this guy is more than capable of going to do that and not need over the top coverage. And I just feel like if you give that to already savvy Zach Orr, I just feel like this could help the Ravens when it comes down to the playoffs, not getting turnovers, not generating turnovers.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Katie. I think the nice thing about adding Lattimore is I think it does a lot for your what?
Jesus Christ, it's not Lattimore.
Which one?
Fuck are you talking about?
Alexander. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's a black guy that plays corner.
Jair Alexander. Shut up.
Next thing you'll be saying,
Listen,
Williams, Johnson.
Yeah, him, that guy. That one black dude. But no, adding Jair Alexander, I think what it does, like you were saying, schematically, I think it helps the Ravens be able to match up in the secondary against pretty much anybody's wide receivers. I don't know who your nickel cornerback is. I don't know who you have. Is that Humphrey?
Right now, slated there will be Marlon Humphrey.
Right. So, I mean, you got guys who can come down to support the run. You can do things. And in that division with the Cincinnati Bengals having the receiving threats that they do, I think you're going to be able to. That signing is going to help and bode well to match up against teams. Their receiving cores or anything that you have to do. It's just going to give them that extra thing. And like you said, with Alexander's health, a question, you're not going to have to look at him to be your every down starter because you already have a solid backfield to begin with. And you can slot him in and play him and you just have that depth that's going to be so helpful. So
the Ravens scared the shit out of me this year. I think they're definitely going to give KC a run for the money in the AFC. First, welcome in Jeffrey. Damn, man, that beard is getting long. What have you been asleep for 20 years?
Yeah, every day I just consider how nice Eric's looks. It's Eric goes like this. I can go like this.
Unfortunately, it actually grows from the scoops. Yeah. Hey, can we answer Anthony's question real quick? Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, but I just want to say that what you can't see, Dave, this is actually my beard is coming from my nose. Which is crazy. I got my nose hair is significantly long. But yeah, what's Anthony's question? That's probably a better conversation than whatever I got to say.
So Rodgers leading in everything in stats over Eli. Eli has 2 Super Bowls. Shine over Aaron Rodgers' stats with 1 ring. I'm going to answer this first, and then I'm going to go to y'all. No, but it should. Eli beat the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots, who were 18-0. No one was coming close to them. But that wasn't necessarily Eli, the whole helmet catch thing, because that was a bunch of luck, honestly. And that was Michael Strahan and the defense who capped it off. But
that was Eli Manning's weighty moment.
Absolutely. And he got out of that sack, and he just hucked that ball up, and it was a helmet catch. But you know how many freaking careers are made on stupid plays like that? Kenny Stabler.
What you heard?
My turn. Since we brought up weighty moments.
Go ahead.
So listen, and Jeff didn't hear it. The weighty moments in life are everything. So when you go to the Hall of Fame, I don't know how many been to Canton. I hear Jeff is going to be making a trip to we're either going to be going to a Steelers game or he's going to come to a New Haven game, which I would love to watch weighty moments. But weighty moments, okay, in life are when I go to Canton, Ohio, and I see a player, okay, I don't think about, oh wow, he had 6 4,000 yard seasons. I don't care. I think about the plays. I think about the moments, okay, that define the player. Okay, so Eli Manning, again, that playoff run, I think the first one when they beat 2017, even the stats say that was the greatest playoff run a quarterback's ever had in the playoffs, right? In high pressure games. I'd have to look, but I believe he had a tremendous quarterback rating through there. But Katie's shaking his head no. But I was reading. I'll have to check on that stat. But in that game, okay, playing quarterback is more than just I threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a fantasy football perspective. That's somebody that doesn't understand the game. Playing quarterback is, you know, the when things aren't going well, moments in the game. There are all those things that define you when you're playing quarterback. And so those moments that he's had in his career, okay, are Hall of Fame moments. He's led his team through adversity. The team didn't, you know, the leadership aspect of it, you know, making sure that momentum, he creates momentum and stops momentum from the other team. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and those 2 Super Bowls are what you play the game for. You don't play it to win MVP. You don't play it to win fantasy football. You don't play it to have a bunch of 300-yard games. That shit's great if it helps you win, but you play it to win. So, you know, did I have checked the ball down enough? Did I audible to a run enough? Did I control the clock? Did I do all the little things that made sure that we can win and not put my team in a position to lose? And so that's why I think he's a Hall of Famer. And I would take his career over Aaron Rodgers at this point because he's won the Super Bowl twice.
Who would like to go? Either Jeff's spanking it or he's in disbelief.
But listen, like I love his response, and it's okay, and it's predictable. And I thought, I mean, as a matter of fact, it's just funny because I really know that he was talking about Ben the whole time because obviously the no MVPs, but didn't he win the MVP of the Super Bowl both times, Eli Manning?
I'm talking about league MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
No. I mean, well, we know Ben never did that either. I mean, I get that, so that's why you were saying it's not important because Josh did. But listen, I don't disagree. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers' career over Eli Manning's career. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers over Eli Manning. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, there is no comparison really. The thing that, I mean, from a skill perspective, I like Eli. I think Eli's a good quarterback, right? I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But at no point in time is he comparable to Aaron Rodgers. He's comparable to Ben. He's comparable to Phillip Rivers. He's comparable to a lot of those guys. Yes, he's got 2 Super Bowls, but here's the issue, right? And this is where it all comes down to it, right? Because let's be very objective, right? Eli Manning's record is a 500 record, wins losses, right? And it's a 500 record, and so be it. But it's because the quarterback gets the wins and losses record, right? The reality of it all is he won 2 Super Bowls, but he's average. I mean, at 500, right? But wins are not a quarterback stat; it's a team achievement, right? No different than a Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Yes, I don't. When Eli made the throw to David Tyree, it was amazing. The next time he did it, it was to Manningham and on the sideline. He's made some clutch throws, right? But equally clutch catches by both of those receivers because they were phenomenal catches. I mean, Eli had to evade on the one where he was able to evade this sack, toss it up, and David Tyree made a catch because David Tyree hadn't been catching anything, and that's where there were a lot of the issues were with David Tyree. But he made an amazing catch, similar to that of Santonio Holmes on a throw by Ben Roethlisberger. Amazing catch by a good throw. At the end of the day,
Wasn't a catch.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, to me, it's not comparable, right? And I think that might have, I don't know what the question was because I didn't hear it and I couldn't read it because I don't have my glasses on, but Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer, but I don't think they're comparable quarterbacks. I think that Eli Manning is nowhere near the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, nor do I think Eli Manning, even though I believe he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, is even close to his brother or Tom Brady, right? That's just, there's tiers within the pro or the Hall of Fame in my mind, right? There's good, I mean, there's great, they're great. I mean, they're great, but yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning aren't close.
No.
Very good, Jeff, because that was a question. David.
Okay, I'm glad.
They're not comparable. Like I said, like I said before about this topic, the difference between Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers is, regardless of the playoff history, regardless of Aaron Rodgers' first round failures, yes, he had a Super Bowl. Eli has too. But through the course of their career, Aaron Rodgers has been a model of consistency up until his Achilles injury. Aaron Rodgers, year in and year out, has played to a high level standard of excellence at quarterback. Eli Manning has had flashes of excellence and flashes of mediocrity. And
even below mediocrity, to be honest. But.
Yeah, they don't compare. And if you sit there and you talk about, like Jeffrey said, Eli Manning has a 500 record, but and quarterbacks get the wins, quarterbacks get the losses. So you can't in one breath say, well, the quarterback has to have all these weighty moments to do this and that, but then you have a 500 record and somehow elevate this quarterback to some high pedestal. Okay. Teams win together, teams lose together. And now if you want to go back and go through Eli Manning's every game and say, okay, well, the defense lost this one, Eli won this one, defense lost that one. I mean, we can do that with any quarterback. So
he was just shitty at the end of his career.
KD, we're going to give you the last word on the subject, then we're moving on.
He was shitty at every point of his career. So what are you talking about?
Down there.
What are you talking about? It's like,
just so we know.
So I love that we try and put out the particulars, right? I don't even need all that. The Pro Bowls, the All Pros and MVPs. I don't need any of that. It's one thing that I'm going to sit here and say, hey, this is something that's in your control mostly, right? And we're talking about interceptions, right? Aaron Rodgers has a 1 point something interception percentage for a damn career. For a career. Not a season. We're talking about a career. Right? For as many times he slung it around the yard, the guy's been super protective of the football for the most part. Now, he has had some clunker games to where, hey, he threw multiple interceptions, right? But on average, he always stays around the 1-ish interception percentage. And I think for me, most of the time, unless it's a tip pass or something like that, you are in direct control of those interceptions, right? In your decision making. And that's where it falls off the wagon for me, for Eli. Because we can talk about the Super Bowls, we can talk about this, because at the end of the day, it's a little bit more than just that quarterback. You know, the defense, the coaching, the situations. It's a lot of different things that have to kind of go your way for you to actually, get there and win a Super Bowl. For instance, Aaron Rodgers' team turned the ball over 4 times when they played Eli Manning last in the playoffs. If they don't turn the ball over those many times offensively, does Eli Manning get another opportunity to get 3 touchdowns? Probably not. So that, again, those things go into consideration. I just think it's not even worth talking. And when it comes down to it.
Hey, Katie, real quick question. If I've got 2 questions. One's a statement with I need clarity. I'm on my phone, but if I'm not mistaken, the top 10, it's not QBR. Is it QBR or top 10 rating? I don't remember what it is. Top 10 ratings all the time, right? For a given season. Doesn't Aaron Rodgers have like 7 of the top 10 seasons with like?
Yeah, and right now, I want to say he's first or second. I can't remember if Lamar Jackson passed him up or not for a career average or QBR or QB rating. Yeah. It's like 104. It's like 104.9, something crazy like that.
Hey, he's got 7 of the 10 seasons, and he's got 1 more coming, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, the last question I had was, Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. Who was he playing?
It was a yellow and black team.
That's right. I forgot. There you go. Just wanted to make sure that we knew that Ben got crushed by Green Bay. Anyway, let's move on to the next question.
It was the Pittsburgh Eagles. The Pittsburgh
game. 6-point game. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah,
before we go on real quick, I'm just going to say, Eric, I know what you're talking about when you say weighty moments. These guys all bust your balls for it. I understand what you're saying.
Now, if
But anyway,
Ben had one more weighty
hold
moment.
on. Now, see, Sean, you done fucked up now. Listen,
Oh,
waiting
no,
moment. Here's the deal. We all, on every one of us in the entire fucking human world understands weighty moments. The frustration that everyone on this show and then everybody that watches this show is that Eric is the only dictator of what is weighty, what's not. Like, it's funny to me in a lot of ways. Like, I remember the Dolphins played Buffalo on the last game of the season, and Buffalo was not going to make the playoffs. And Eric's like, they're not going to make it, and they had to win like 50 games in a row. Miami to lose, and then, oh, by the way, the winner of the last game of the season between Buffalo and Miami was going to win the division and go to the playoffs. The other one was going to go home. And Eric was like, "Oh, it's Josh Allen. He doesn't have weighty moments." They won the game. The whole fucking game was weighty. But Eric's like, it wasn't a weighty moment. It's just foolishness like that.
Jeff got his 10 minutes. Okay, and Jeff got his 10 minutes.
I haven't even been on here for 10 minutes.
I
listen. Wait. I will be quiet. Hey. Wait. I'll let you talk, but let me just say this first. When I first came on, Sean talked. You answered the Eli question. I didn't say a word. I didn't even open my mouth. Then I gave my opinion, and now we're here. Now, all I just said was your weighty moments. That took me 43 seconds. I'm looking at it here. 43 seconds. I didn't talk for 10 minutes. Stop acting crazy. Hey, well, listen. You're a liberal journalist with your bullshit fucking. What do you call it? What do you call that stuff? A sensationalism. He's got 10 minutes. I haven't even been on here for fucking 10 minutes. Let's go. Go ahead, man. I'm busting your ball.
Good God. That was the longest 43 seconds I think I've ever had in my life.
That was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, I went a little further.
Well, it's good. Keep going. But anyhow, so what we're talking about, winning a game to go in the playoff is a weighty moment, but also having the ball with 2 minutes to go and not being able to punch it in consistently in the playoffs over and over again does give you a negative asterisk. Okay, so if you can't get it done,
holy shit! Well,
that's
good.
Why I'm gonna be quick and wrap up before you get another 10 minutes. Let me finish.
I'm glad. Vinatieri played. I'm just thankful for Vinatieri because otherwise Tom Brady's waiting minutes would have been fucked.
Yeah, that's why you guys need to check out the couch chat or the David. What's it called? The chat or the couch AI. What's our chat thing?
Oh, yeah, the couch AI or whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
the couch. That's why the couch AI, who analyzes everything and has the answers, thinks Ben is better than Marino.
All right, so we're gonna move on here real quick. By the way, if we want to go by the best QBR career, Aaron Rodgers is number 1. Mahomes, number 2. Jackson, number 3. Burrow, number 4. Russell Wilson, 5. Deshaun Watson is 6. So if we're really gonna take this into like this is what it means. So after Watson, you got Breeze at 7, Prescott at 8, Tagovailoa at 9, and Jimmy Garoppolo at 10. So
yeah, we can throw that list out.
Yeah, we're gonna say
no.
Okay,
absolutely
so
not. No, absolutely not. Because those guys, every guy that he's named that's questionable hasn't played for the amount of time Aaron Rodgers has played.
No, no, KD, I am not. I am definitely not knocking Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, he's been a model of consistency.
The list is solid. The list is solid. If I played 6 years and I've had 3 or 4 good years, of course my QBR is gonna be legit. So
Cousins is ahead of Tom fucking Brady.
Tom Brady. Okay, think about this. Tom Brady came in. Was Tom Brady going to the Super Bowl as a rookie? No, was not. Kirk Cousins played how many years?
2 fucking.
Not as many as Tom Brady. Not as many as Tom Brady. So of course your QBR is going to take a hit. If I play 8 years, to a guy that played 21 years, of course my QBR should be better than his. If I'm a starter,
Manning's number 16 on this list. Tony Romo's better than him at 13.
Tony Romo played how many years? Peyton Manning had played how many years?
Sean, he's defending it because Lamar is high on this list.
I'm not
No,
defending
no,
it.
no, no.
Lamar
I get everything
No,
he's saying.
the next 6
I get
years,
everything he's saying.
Lamar Jackson can play the next 6 years, and his QBR can drop off the face of the planet if he stinks it up the next 6 years.
Yeah.
That's
No, I mean,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what Katie's saying. The longer you play, the more ability your QBR has to drop, because the more years you play, you're playing into your 40s, and your stats and all that start to diminish. As your talent starts to diminish, your QBR starts to diminish. So yeah, I get it. I understand what he's saying. Makes sense.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to the last subject of the night, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys if you want to continue. But this was a big one for me. And Eric, try to cool your jets because I know you're getting a boner over this one.
Oh,
a judge rules the NFL concluded with team owners on reducing veteran contract guarantees. The arbitrator, in a statement, said, "There is little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans' contracts at the March 2022 owners meeting. At the same time, they also said, well, we can't prove that they did it." So, first of all, I think this is a piece of shit move. These are veterans. These are guys who have played the game, sacrificed their bodies, sacrifices their families, family time, everything for you and your fucking football team. And you are going to reduce their guarantees when they are getting older. Does anyone want to start with this one?
I'll just go because I speak less than Jeffrey and Eric argue over each other. I'll say this. Collusion in any form is not right. I can see the point of why you want to lower guaranteed salary for aging players, because as players age, the majority, I'm not saying there are exceptions to all the rules, but for the most part, as players tend to age, their skills diminish. Granted, they are veterans, but again, through everything, you have the NFL and the NFL Players Association who are trying to control costs for owners. And so do owners really want to guarantee all this money for players who are going to play 2 or 3 more years, or do they want to invest it in the rookies who are going to give them 7 to 10 years? So I get the point. It was proven that they did it, but the owners didn't go along with it, so they couldn't really. That's why they found in favor of that ruling. That didn't. It showed collusion, but they couldn't prove it because the owners didn't do it. That's what that ruling said.
So,
no, it's not that they didn't do it. I couldn't prove it.
No, they didn't do it because owners didn't go along.
KD, did they not do it, or did they not prove it?
I got a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
I just got a question because I'm not familiar with this. I'll give you an opinion late after Eric and KD talk, just to what I think. But my question is this: how is that collusion if the commissioner proposes, tries to make them whatever he does as the commissioner, and they don't go along with it? That's a suggestion, and you rejected it. How is that collusion? Collusion would be more. I said it, you did it, and now there's collusion. That's what collusion means. I think that we've got so far fucking away from like English that people just don't know what words mean. I mean, my question is, I don't, and Sean, I'm saying this out of ignorance. I don't know the story. This is the first time I'm really hearing about it. But to hear someone say colluding because the commissioner proposed to the owners that we do this, the owners reject that idea because they don't do it. You're saying they couldn't prove it. David's saying they didn't do it. I would only say that based on what I see, I'm not seeing veteran salaries go down. So I would agree with David's thing that said they didn't do it. But that's still just a suggestion. Why is that collusion? That's just my question. I don't know.
It's collusion because they're going against the what the labor union,
the collective bargaining. They're going against the collective bargaining.
Number one, and this happened right after the Deshaun Watson crazy ass guarantee by the Cleveland Browns.
Sure.
And I totally disagree with the Cleveland Browns doing what they did with Deshaun Watson.
Sure.
But that has led to things, and that's why they turned. It's not that they didn't collude, but it has not proven there was collusion. It's not that they didn't do it.
Well, Josh Allen has $330 million guaranteed, so obviously they didn't.
At this point,
they didn't collude. If they just gave him $330 million guaranteed, he got more than Deshaun Watson.
Dave, you've had your 5 minutes. Katie,
I'm good. Yep.
When are you off your rookie contract? How many years you got to play?
5.
Correct.
Okay.
Was Josh Allen playing for 5 years when they gave him the $330 million contract?
Yeah. Yeah, they just did it to him.
I don't think so.
They just did it this year. They just gave him $330 million. They renegotiated his contract, and he got $330 million guaranteed.
All right.
He's been around longer than 5 years.
Yeah, he's been around since 2018, so he's been around 7.
Well, this is his third contract. Yeah, he had his rookie contract. He signed an extension to that. And they renegotiated this one, so it's his third contract since he's been in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry.
No. So we can't be so foolish to think 32 billionaires are just 100% morally intact, right? And even if they are, right? Let's talk about from the financial standpoint, right? Some of these guys the GMs are bad investors. There's nothing against the owner. It's the GMs, right? So where I say, hey, you know what? Jeff, man, he's a stellar linebacker. He did these things, yada, 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 but he's only 16th damn year in the NFL. Why would I guarantee his contract? And then, oh, yeah, by the way, he's asking for $12 million a year. But some GMs in some places are desperate, and they do it, right? They do. Let's call it what it is. There are some players that go there. I don't know if it's the agent's fault, the agent swindling people or whatever it may be, or they got some henchmen that they scare them with. But for some odd reason, some of these contracts, I'm just looking at them like, wow, how? So to fix this, right, everything should be incentivized based off what you provide for the team. And I don't know why the NFL hasn't done this. It seems so simple. Hey, man, if you play X amount of games. Hey, man, if you get X amount of tackles. Hey, man, if you get X amount of interceptions. Hey, man, you get X amount of passing yards. It should be a no-brainer. Hey, bro. Hey, bud. We signed you for this minimum, and all your bonuses and incentives will kick in if you get to these particular thresholds. So you can't come to me pouting about the collective bargaining agreement when you signed it and said, hey, if I get to X, Y, and Z, I get these bonuses for this, and this. And you can even put it in tiers. Hey, man, you get to game 14. As soon as you get to game 14, you get those 5 tackles. Cool. Here you go. Your bonus will be in the middle or in your particular salary. And I don't know why they're not doing that. Because if you did that, that would kill half of these. Hey, you colluded against me. Hey, you didn't give me this. Hey, you should give me guaranteed money. Because let's be real. The other part of this is the players, right? I want my damn check. I want a check to not do nothing. I've been in the league. Look, I've been in the league 10 years. I got a Super Bowl. I got all pros. I got, defensive player of the year, fucking runner up, whatever I got, right? I'm trying to set myself up for when I'm done with the league. And by the way, I had dumb spending habits when I was 28. I'm now 35, and I need that $16 million to be guaranteed. Because why? I got 5 baby mamas right now.
Can I just say one thing, and I'll just have to double check this, but they are starting to do that more with bonuses. But I think a lot of the problem that teams have, depending, especially when you do that bonus wise, and depending on where you are from a salary cap standpoint, which I think they're going to try to address. But as that player goes through the season with that bonus, if they meet that bonus, it becomes part of the cap. it becomes part of their cap hit. So what happens is, I think a lot of times general managers, depending on where a team is cap wise, they don't like the contracts with the bonuses because they try to leave X amount of dollars free for in-season moves, injuries, blah, 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 blah. And now if you're incentivizing through bonuses, you don't have the cost certainty that you would have as a general manager, knowing I have X amount of dollars to spend. And now every time this guy reaches a bonus, that number becomes less and less and less.
Whose fault is that?
Well, no, I know it's the team and the GM. It's the GM. I get it.
Look, let's be real. Because let's be real. If I work at a brewing company, or if I work at a T-shirt factory or whatever, my budget is my budget. I gotta fit things in there. I can't say, hey, wait a minute, man. All right, do you mind taking $5 less this month on your per hour because we don't have enough money? Hell no, I don't want to hear that. I want my damn money.
Sure.
So, however creative how much creativity you need to come up with, that's you. That's your thing. The other part is that, hey, you have escrow. You got escrow to do that. To where now it's like, hey, okay, look, I know every team don't have it, but the teams that do have it, hey, look, I can take this from escrow and hey, look, here you go. This is how I'm going to pay you to get around that particular loophole. So at the end of the day, it's like, obviously, you don't want to make the bonuses too crazy to where it's like, hey, okay, look, he getting a $20 million bonus for getting 10 tackles in over 10 games. Absolutely not. We need to make something that's attainable. And then that's where you come in as a GM. You got your people, your analysts with you, and say, hey, all right, man, in a 14-year career linebacker, Mike linebacker, or off-ball linebacker, how many tackles are we expecting him to get? All right, let's just say magic number is 80. Okay, magic number is 80. Your bonus will kick in not when you get 81, but when you get into 90. That's how you can start to work things, because now when you work things like that, now it's a, hey, it give the player something, right? But it also allow you to save some bucks, because some people are not going to go out and work for it at the end of their career like that. Some people just kind of, I want to fly low.
Yeah, no, I get it.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
Okay. Well, I just want to point out, Dave, that Sean tries to be organized and you take us off kilter. I don't think it's Jeff and I necessarily. I think it's you up there that's keeping us off kilter. So, Sean, on David's behalf, I apologize. Now, this reminds me, do you guys remember any given Sunday when Lawrence Taylor was playing the middle linebacker and he had to get that one damn tackle and he's sitting there and he got it, but then
y'all better not drop me.
Yeah, worth $2 million. So, yeah, that's what this reminds me of. Look, okay, it's not the reason to this is why holdouts are happening, is because players do not trust GMs and they don't trust owners. Okay, it's not necessarily the idea that we want to. I like Katie. I everything should be incentive based. I agree. Everything should be earned. It should be merit. Okay, I 100%. But it's the method they go about it. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this again. Roger Goodell is the worst commissioner in the history of sports. He's a scumbag. He doesn't care about anybody but the people he cares about, which are the owners, and he works for. But he's not a good human being. He sucks. Okay, what should have done, and it is collusion, because if you have a collective bargaining agreement and you have certain rules that you need to do, and you say, fuck it, I'm Roger Goodell, I'm going to get all the owners together, and I'm going to try to just bypass the things I can't bypass, then he should be punished or gotten rid of, because he sucks as a commissioner. He's a terrible human being. He's bad for football. He promotes non-football things. He makes running backs feel irrelevant. He makes all these different things that he's done throughout his quote-unquote legislation of his time being an owner. He bypassed what had to happen. It was collusion. Okay, he probably had to check with the collective bargaining agreement. He probably had to go through the players union. He probably had things he had to do, and he just went ahead and got the owners together and said, let's pay some of these veterans less. Let's go ahead and just make these contracts non-guaranteed. So if the players hold out, if Hendrickson holds out, if Watt holds out, I don't blame him, okay? Because one, if your owner's not going, if you're not going to be taken care of based on your performance, and you go to negotiate and you can't trust the people you're negotiating with, well, then fucking guarantee it, because I can't trust you on a negotiation table because, one, you're meeting behind closed doors and you're not following the procedures that are put in place.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, I could go on all day. I won't. TJ Watkins sit out, but he's a captain and he's values based, so he probably shouldn't hold out. But anyway, neither here nor there. Out of all the stuff that was said, incentivized stuff doesn't work, and incentivized stuff doesn't work because then they can hold people out of the games. I mean, you've watched where Gronkowski got his last catch because Tom Brady said, "I'm going to get it to you," but they'll put people out. I mean, look, case in point, and I said it last year. It's so funny to me that no one really talked about it, but the reality is Justin Fields started 6 games for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then Russell Wilson came in. There was a million times that they could have put Russell Wilson on the bench because he sucked, but they didn't. And it wasn't because they thought Fields couldn't do better. It was because there was a pick involved. If he plays X amount of snaps, incentivized, right? I mean, they don't play him because then they lose a higher pick, right? All that shit exists, and the same concept with money. I mean, from a collusion perspective, I just hate that fucking word. I mean, I remember when it came out. I mean, it's like it's been a word in our language for a long, long time, but it came out when Trump was colluding with Russia, because before it was conspiring with, like, and then all of a sudden collusion came out, and collusion's been in every fucking mouth of every human being talking, whether it be in politics or football, and I hate the word. I think it's fucking stupid. Anyway, the other thing is I don't dislike the idea of capping veterans at certain things and not making guarantees, especially in football, whether it be skill or production based stuff. That's significant, right? Age and injuries happen at older ages as they're playing. But NFL is a lot different than Major League Baseball. I mean, Major League Baseball is a funny thing when it comes to contracts, because contracts in baseball are almost like thank you for what you've done. I'm going to reward you for future, right? Because in baseball, like, you get 4 years or 5 years if you're a rookie in the NFL. In baseball, man, you're on a rookie deal for like ever. And it takes forever for arbitration and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, however good you were, they pay you for how good you were, unless you're like a Juan Soto and they pay you what they're paying you, or an Ohtani, right? But those are like few and far between. You're getting big contracts mid-career, right? Because they're thanking you for what you did earlier in your career and you got paid peanuts. Anyway, neither here nor there. That's an interesting idea. But I think, again, if Goodell went to the owners to have this conversation behind the NFLPA and it's against the collective bargaining agreement, it's wrong. And I could understand the players' frustration. I don't disagree with Eric on that at all, or David, or KD. I don't disagree with anybody's perspective, but neither here nor there. Whatever.
Well, I think what the NFLPA should do is they should fight in the next CBA if that's what they found and that's what's going on. Is in the next CBA they should fight for lowering the maximum that the rookie can sign his contract for. Okay, if rookies, because the NFL is a young man's game. If they're trying to shorten or get rid of large guarantees for veterans, say, okay, instead of having 5 years control of a rookie, now you have 3. So now the young players who come in can actually make the money that they deserve instead of being held captive at a rookie salary for 5 years.
Sure.
When a kid goes to get NIL and the subject comes up, I hear about this a lot. Is he told once he commits to the school and he goes as a senior, is he told, okay, well, if you're hurt, we're pulling your NIL money? Yes or no? Katie, up top.
No, I'm certain most of these NIL deals are not coming directly from the school. They will start, so I don't think injury clauses are in there.
Okay,
they're going to go on just the image and the likeness.
Okay.
More towards marketing than playing on the field.
Okay, well, so a couple things. As a college kid, you're coming in, you get your NIL. You're not being punished because you get injured. So my thing with the NFL and this whole thing here, we can argue where the contracts is and when they should be able to not pay the contract, etc. We can the legal part of that. Goodell went ahead, broke procedure. So what they should argue is the NFLPA, if they really want to fix this, is the next collective bargaining agreement. He's out. We want somebody that's been a part, Troy Vincent, or somebody that's been a part of the NFLPA that can come on both sides and work with both sides instead of the owners having all the control here and installing Goodell, who's absolutely, again, had several different problems throughout this that's going against procedure. And the NFL, they should install a commissioner that can work with both sides and work it out. I mean,
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
I'm not out of my mind.
You are out of your mind.
That's
Hey, hold on. You're out of your mind. And let me explain why. What is Roger Goodell the commissioner for?
He's commissioner. He's the NFL.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
Now, go and look since he took over as commissioner what their revenue rates have been. I don't give a shit about procedures. I don't give a shit about the NFLPA saying we're going to.
They're making a lot of money and they're not.
Guess what? And guess what? That's his job. So at the end of the day, you could call him a scumbag because because Hines Ward got in trouble or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck you're really upset about.
He doesn't honor his word. But go ahead.
Okay, but what he's done is made 32 billionaires 7 times over.
And so we're just gonna take care of the 1% and take care.
Well, that's
because that's his fucking job. That's his job.
Roger Goodell works for the 32 owners. He works for the owners. He doesn't work for the players.
So the PA works for the NFL players.
Right.
So the players
they get paid by the NFL. They're not going. He's not going.
We don't play. I think he'll kill eventually. I've said this before. The NFL is going to take a downturn for the worst here, especially because players are going to say, "Fuck it, I'm not going to play." If I tear my ACL, and you're going to cut my contract, fuck it, I'm not going to.
Let me ask you a question. Wait, hold on, Jeff. Let me ask you a question. So you say they're going to say, "Screw it," they're just going to go and so. Has the UFL been successful? Has the USFL been successful? Has the XFL been successful? Has any other offshoot league of the NFL been successful? No. The players, the NFL is successful. Roger Goodell is the boss of 32 owners. He's not the boss of the players. That's what the Players Association does. So you need a strong Players Association person to negotiate a fair contract for the players with the NFL. Roger Goodell's sole purpose is to make 32 owners as much money as he can. That's his job. However he does that, doesn't matter. I mean, he's like JP Morgan Chase. He's like whoever they are. He works for the owners. He doesn't work for the bankers. He doesn't work for the people that deposit money.
Here's a question that I don't know. Hey, listen. Yeah. I'm asking a question because I don't know the answer, truly. So, who pays the NFLPA? Do they get paid by the NFL?
I'm pretty sure.
Guess what? Guess where Goodell's not going to go. And guess who? It doesn't matter.
Played by the players who pay union dues.
Yeah.
Say again, Sean. I'm sorry.
The NFL Players Association gets paid by the players because it's a union. They owe union dues.
Okay, so it's a union that's separate from the NFL. Big Daddy NFL.
Yeah.
They're separate.
They're all independent contractors. They're not employees of the NFL. They are independent contractors.
Okay. I mean, but that's important though, right? So that takes away my argument from then they're not going to do much, right? Because the fact is, if they're getting paid by Daddy, then they're not. However, again, I mean, obviously the NFL Players Association has done a bang up job. Over the years, right? When you think about their establishment and what they've done to give players rights, to give players pays, I mean, they do a lot of great stuff for the players. I love what they've done. But still, through all of that, the NFL has thrived. And Roger Goodell, like him, love him, hate him, or whatever, he is the cornerstone of that thing. So you can remove him, and that's fine. And maybe you get a commissioner that really cares about the players, and that's awesome. But at the end of the day, that commissioner is going to be the commissioner so long as 32 billionaires are making money. And a lot of it, by the way, not just status quo. So I would look at the growth of the NFL over the course of his tenure and say, okay, we can complain about it because for whatever reason we hate him. And I know, Eric, you have a million reasons. I get it, and they're all probably valid. I'm not dismissing or marginalizing any of those. But the truth of the matter is no one's going to oust him. The NFL they're going to strike because of Goodell. That's cool. And then players lose money. The NFL loses money, and who needs it more? I mean, I think that's always the funny part is that who needs the money more? Is it the billionaires that own the things, or is it the player who wants to make $14 million this year? And so, I don't know. It's always funny to me.
Sean, and I'll end it with this last point. Okay, just because you make a ton of money, okay, Jeff will say, well, we don't need to follow procedure. We don't need to follow protocols. He makes 32 people a bunch of money, and it's been successful so far. So fuck all the legalities of doing what's right. Okay, ethically, things are not being done right. Okay, so ethically, there should be it shouldn't be just, well, I'm just going to make a bunch of money and just make my own rules up. Fuck that, fuck following what needs to be done. Okay, what'll happen is, and you're seeing it, is more players are going to hold out, more players aren't going to play. The quality of play, which is already going down, will continue to go down because players aren't going to do it.
Go ahead, Katie.
Wait, I just got to strike something. I want to strike something real quick because Eric has the tendency to do it. Katie, I have to do it. I'm sorry. Jeff didn't say violate procedure and do shit unethically. I never fucking said that, so don't quote me on what I would say. I didn't say that. What I said was 32 fucking billionaires are making billions of dollars. I didn't tell you that it was okay that he cut corners. I didn't say that. You can say I insinuated it. I'm telling you that they're not going to cut the dude off because of any fucking thing other than the fact that he's doing shit. He hasn't killed nobody. He hasn't murdered nobody. He's cut corners. Sure. I don't like it. I'm not saying it's good. But they're pretty happy with their pockets. Go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry.
All right. So let's clear something up. The owners don't work for Goodell because he can't pick up the Baltimore Ravens and say we move y'all to Albuquerque. He can't, right? So there's no threat to losing my team or whatever it may be. You can put your little bullcrap fine out there. What is that? Ashtray money, $100,000. Find me a couple of picks, but guess what? My team's still here, still making money, right?
It's the other way around.
So when it comes to,
I'm saying it's the other way around. Goodell works for the owners.
Got it. So at the end of the day, right? If I tell you to color in between the lines and you don't, what's going to happen? You're going to be fired. You're going to be gone. Because exactly. The owners have a level of protection. Goodell does not. So if I tell you, hey man, I need you to go to the podium and we're going to put out this particular message, you need to get behind it. You go talk to your office, and however you want to swindle it, you come out with what? A happy-go-lucky message about X, Y, and Z that I wanted to put out. That's what's going to go down. Right,
so it's $200 million extension and a $200 million extension, right?
and then as far as the players, right? This is the kicker, right? We're not even talking about the guys that don't even make it to the NFL. Think about the kids that don't make it. The million or so college players every year that never get to the draft, right? Don't even get undrafted. Don't even get a chance to make it in the NFL. Period. Right. So just think about all those kids now. If you say, hey, Buddy wouldn't do it for $25 million, would you do it for $8 million? And guess what? I've been stocking shelves at Publix, and I want to get a second chance in my football career. What do you think I'm going to go do?
I'll take $3 million.
I'm gonna take that damn offer. So at the end of the day, you're losing your chances to get what you want. Whether you're talking about generational wealth, whether you're talking about changing your family lives, or making it for yourself, you're losing out those opportunities. I just don't see many people walking away from $25 million versus $50 million because of some moral obligation that you believe.
Oh
that
no,
Right.
but
And so maybe-
ethical high ground. I know Eric stands on ethics and all this morality and honor. And I'll tell you, I listened to Gilbert Arenas talk about how would he take a pay cut to go get a ring, and he said a $50 million pay cut. Are you fucking kidding me? There ain't no ring worth $50 million. And you know what's funny? That's 99.999% of the fucking athletes that play this game. Until after they're done, they're not.
Yeah.
giving up a
So maybe the rage that you have inside shouldn't be towards Roger Goodell. Maybe it should be to the Art Rooneys, the Terry Pagulas, the owners of the NFL who tell their commissioner what we want you to do for us, as opposed to the guy who's just the messenger.
See, that's why I love Pittsburgh, is we're the ones that didn't vote for Goodell. So the rest of you all suck. So
sure,
but
they're surely benefiting.
Hey, you know the great part about that is he's still the commissioner.
Hey, and you know what? I got a question. I don't it's funny. So are you? Because you've said it twice in less than a 30-minute span. So I'm trying to. Are you justifying TJ Watt by sitting out and holding out because of Goodell? Is this a Goodell thing or is this because Pittsburgh won't pay him what like $5 more than Myles Garrett because he's often injured?
I think he's going to be paid. So
I think he's going to get paid too. But you're justifying
I think he's going to
him.
get paid. So, but I don't think. I think he should. If I was him, and to be honest with you, you made enough money in your career now. So if you say, oh, well, I won't pay you, somebody will. Okay, so I'll make money. I'll get advertisement money. That's what you don't understand is eventually somebody will pay you. So, yeah, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't. He is the all-time single season sack record of all time.
Sure.
He's one other person has done what he's done, and he's tied it.
But can I ask you something about TJ Watt?
Here we go.
Okay, you want to pay him that kind of money, but with his years, like you talk about like Buffalo signing Joey Bosa, who's injured often. Well, I can tell you how many times TJ Watt's been injured often, but you expect him to be paid $60 million guaranteed.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard all day. Joey Bosa missed 10 games. TJ Watt he played injured in a playoff game, and the year before he got injured.
Well, let's take it further than that. Then let's take it further because now this is how Sean this stuff gets interesting to me because I often say both sides of people's mouths. So TJ Watt is the all-time single season sack record holder, regular season, right? What's his record in the playoffs? Where's his clutch performance? Did he have a tackle last year?
So, but that's
no buts. I'm
answering your question.
So answer the first question. How many playoff wins?
So he's a linebacker versus a quarterback.
Doesn't matter.
Quarterback's the most important position.
No. Wait. Here's my question. David, be quiet for a second. Hold on.
He's the face of your franchise.
Hey, David, stop talking over time. He is, but how many tackles did he have against Pittsburgh against Baltimore last year?
When Darrelle Revis is thrown at Darrelle
No.
Revis,
How many
it's
tackles?
The same concept.
How many tackles?
So they ran away from him. Okay.
How many tackles? Let's see. Here's the deal. You can tell me what he did. Okay. How many? Wait, okay. You're right. They ran away from him. Hey, Katie. How many yards did Lamar Jackson throw for touchdowns in that game? I know they ran over 200 yards. I got that. But how many?
They
how many
scored
passes?
28 points.
They he threw for 2. They could have had a third one, but he threw for 2 and ran like 100 yards. And then
And I guess my question: how many quarterback pressures did TJ Watt have in the playoff game? How many?
4.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And I'll bring it up for you. I mean, I like you saying it. He didn't.
We talked on the chat. He had 4 plays in the backfield where he affected the play.
And he affected the play and allowed Lamar Jackson to run around him for 20-yard gain.
Hey, bottom line is. It's just funny to me. It's funny to me. This dude is a beast. He's 0-7 in the playoffs. He has performed poorly in almost every playoff game he has. By the way, he's not 0-7 because he was hurt for 2 of those, so he didn't play in 7. But anyway, all that being said, they haven't won a playoff game with him. He is a guy. My issue is, and Eric, you made mention of Trey Hendrickson holding out. You made mention of how fucking in shambles the Bengals front office is. I agree with you wholeheartedly, by the way. Never disagreed with that at all. More importantly, he held out. He's doing his thing, and he deserves to get paid because he deserves to get paid. Is Trey Hendrickson a captain on that team?
I think so.
Yeah, he'd have to be, right? Because everybody's gone. But TJ Watt is the captain of that team, right?
He is one of the captains. Cam
Yeah,
Hayward is the captain.
Right. He's one of, and he is, yeah. And the fact that he didn't show up is kind of, from a values perspective, from a priority, honorable, and all that stuff. I just think it's
he
funny.
just didn't participate as a whole. Then he was, he was in the area.
He was where?
He's inside the room. He's just not practicing.
He was not there.
He was not there. He was not there. He might have came. But it's funny because but David, see, this is the stuff that kills me. Listen. Eric was talking, and he keeps talking about how James Cook is like this fucking valuable player to Buffalo, and there's a contract dispute, and he if he just leaves, Buffalo will be in shambles because he had a good year. But my issue, where'd he go? Why are you leaving? But my issue is, James Cook still showed up at every practice. He was at everything. So I don't understand where dollars matter, players matter. Vision matters, position matters, and all that matters unless it's someone that might matter. Because James Cook don't matter for shit. just saying.
Katie
But anyway.
just read my comment. Anyway, so do we want to wind it up here? Or do we want to go on to one last subject here? But
do you have one last subject to go on to?
Not really. Just I was watching. It caught my eye on the Facebook feed, and this guy's bitching that everyone's overlooking Denver this year. There's no one here on this panel that's overlooked Denver. We're like, holy shit, they're going to be fucking good.
Yeah, no, I know.
Has anyone on this panel overlooked Denver this year?
No, I think they're a legitimate threat to Kansas City.
I certainly do too.
Check this out. Here's my only concern, Sean. I'm not overlooking them, but here's my concern with them. It's no different than my concern with CJ Stroud and the Texans. It's not. It's my concern that I had with Geno Smith with the Seahawks, and it's still my concern with Jalen Daniels in Washington. This is the second year for Bo Nix. He did great last year. Does he do great again? Can he do it again with tape and footage and all that good stuff? All of the things that matter, right? Can he do it again? But here's the thing that I know we've talked about several times, even you guys, when I was listening to you guys when I wasn't here. Regardless of what Bo Nix does, right? What Denver has done is built around him spectacularly. They built around him in the draft. They built around him in the free agency. I think outside of
and defensively,
I don't think anybody's done better in the offseason than.
Well, and I think defensively they built
better, but
defensively for sure, and they were already good last year defensively. So I think Denver could be tough. I think quietly the Chargers. Listen. I don't know what Pete Carroll's going to do with the Raiders. I know that there's a lot of questions and a lot of holes, but I like Pete Carroll as a coach as much as I don't like him as a coach. I think he's in his perfect element with some young cats, and we know what he did with some young cats in Seattle before they got old and money and all that good stuff. But the Chargers, they did very, very well last year. They've only gotten better this year. And so I think I mean, until Kansas City isn't Kansas City, they're like someone's got to dethrone them for me to be like they're not the winner. But at the end of the day, I believe Denver and the Chargers are certainly, if not better than, they're right behind them. I mean, I'm not going to call them better until they show it. But
they've closed that gap. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
This big, and now it's here.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. But I mean, and then the other part that's really amazing that we haven't talked about, and I know I think Katie mentioned it when Pete Carroll got hired, but when you look at the coaches in that division, like that, to me, that's just it's just an interesting thing. The whole division is full of, future Hall of Fame. These are Hall of Fame coaches. I mean, when their careers are over, these folks are going to be in a Hall of Fame. Now, Harbaugh, maybe he's not, but what he's been able to prove through his first stint in the NFL, then his collegiate coaching career, and now his first year what he did with the Chargers last year. Man, they got coaches and they got horses, and it's going to be really Denver. To me, that might be from top to bottom the most exciting division in football. We'll see. I think maybe we talk about that next week if you'd like. Is where is the
Totally.
where is the closeness of division races? Like when we talk about the AFC East, no real closeness there. Maybe a team or two. When you talk about the NFC South, or excuse me, North with Baltimore and Pittsburgh, that's close in what does Cincinnati do. But I think Cleveland's way the fuck out. I think the West is pretty interesting. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Absolutely.
And man, oh man, that Giants defensive front looks fucking scary, don't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no. I mean, it's just practice and all. But what's that say?
Oh.
This says, I agree with Eric. Trust has to be built in contract negotiations. If you negotiate in good faith, it'll eventually lead to a strike. A year without money will get attention.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I mean, look, I don't disagree with Eric in that point. And strikes. Look, how many strikes have we had in the NFL since the 80s? We had one, right? Or two? Was it one or two?
Since
I remember.
the 80s,
Yeah, well, I remember the scab
One.
year. What, 86?
yeah,
87,
86 was the scab year, and then we had one strike after that.
Right.
So just one since 86.
Right, and we know that there is no other replica organization. There is no other NFL, and nothing's going to pop up to make everybody watch that when the NFL goes. I don't think that it would be a bad thing to strike. I don't disagree with Eric. I also don't see. If you look at contracts by players, there are some things that they probably want that they don't have. Obviously, when they look at the NBA, they want those contracts like the NBA has. They want those contracts like Major League Baseball has. I get that, but there's tools they're using for that. I don't agree. Like David, when we've talked in the past, I don't agree. I hear people say nobody should get paid that much to play a game. Okay, that sounds good, but nobody should be making the money that they're making, like billionaires making all the money when the players are doing the game. So pay them what their value is, right? So set that as a tone. But what does that look like? Do we remove the salary cap? And now if you remove the salary cap, then there would be a significant disparity in actual competitive teams, and that's what they've tried to drive away from, right? I mean, towards is to have competition and that ability to have the small market teams, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Anyway,
Right.
It's just crazy.
Opposite. By doing a salary cap, you make teams more competitive.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If they remove, because I don't listen. In a perfect world, right, Sean? In a perfect world, I don't care if there's no salary cap. And oh, by the way, if you want to pay Lamar Jackson $75 million per snap, I'm cool with that too. Like, I don't care, because the one thing that bothers me in real life is if a team, for instance, and I'll use arbitrary numbers because I don't have a computer in front of me to pull numbers, but let's just say the Baltimore Ravens earn $1 billion this year. Let's just say that's what they earned. And the players take up, what is the cap, Dave? 259 million?
273.
Okay, $273 million, which leaves you $727 million for the owner to do with what he has to do to pay his staff. But that's a lot of money that's going to be left over, right? We know that's a lot of money, and that's not fair. I don't agree with that. But I do understand the need to have some level of cushion. But I don't understand. I don't make that number. Whatever that number is agreeable to is agreeable. So whatever the cap is, raise the cap.
And the saddest part is, though, Jeffrey, when you look at it in real dollars, it's a lot more than that.
Oh,
because
sure.
You got to remember the players' salaries are paid for by the TV deals that the NFL has. So an owner is almost working on profit. They are always turning a profit. Money that leaves to pay for players, blah blah blah. yes, it comes out of the owner's pocket but it's all revenue and revenue sharing. So the money that they're making, they probably profit almost $1 billion a year.
Sure. I don't think they don't, David. So, I mean, I guess that's my point, where I will argue with anybody that speaks to it about a player shouldn't get paid this much to play a sport. Yeah, okay, cool, got it. However, if the player isn't getting paid this much money, that's only that much more money going to the owner's pocket. So if we're a country, I mean, capitalism is cool. They're paying a quote unquote fair share. But I'm okay with them getting paid what they're getting paid, because if they're not getting paid, then the Rooneys and the Pagulas, like you said, and everybody else is just making money hand over fist for bullshit, right? So anyway,
Right.
I don't know. I don't disagree with the comment. I don't know who made the. I couldn't see who made the comment.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with Eric, by the way. I don't disagree that a strike couldn't help. I'm just stating in part that to get to a strike, there's got to be some real problem, because at the end of the day, if we're striking, I'm not paying you. Players will hold out, and that's cool. Those guys that have those contracts like a Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, these veteran guys that have been in the league for years that have made the 50s of millions of dollars, which is great. But these first year players, these second, third, fourth, fifth year players, yeah, man. I mean, they want to get back on the field quick because they're trying to get to that second contract.
But like I say, the only thing I disagree with Eric in the whole conversation about it is you're taking your anger out on the wrong individual. Like I said, sure. Roger Goodell is the face of the NFL, is the face of 32 owners. That 32 owners put him in a position to be 32 owners spokesman, and everything that is done that Roger Goodell stands up there and talks about are 32 NFL owners telling him, this is what we want to have done with our product. And you are the spokesman for the NFL.
Hey, Dave, I'd be really interested, because I wasn't tracking the collusion thing, Sean. I'd be really interested to see how that was brought up. I mean, it sounds like the commissioner colluded with the owners, but I know, and David, I remember this vividly, how you and I talked about when Deshaun Watson's deal got done. Katie was on the show, you were on the show, we talked about how ludicrous that deal was in general, right? Not just because it was guaranteed money. We didn't say that part. That is an issue, but we talked about it from his perspective, because he was coming down with criminal allegations and all this other stuff. And I believe wholeheartedly that 31 NFL owners went into a meeting after that and were like, yo, what the fuck, Cleveland? Yo, what did you do to us? Because you just set a precedence. This is silly. I mean, understanding that Kirk Cousins got his $100 million contract guarantee with Minnesota. That happened before the 230 from Watson. But was this brought up by Goodell, or was this a 31 owner just bashing of Cleveland's ownership team, and it turned into a conversation that they try to eliminate that craziness because they didn't want to have to get stuck doing the same thing 3 years down the road.
Right. I just want to ask the gentleman here. He said the conversation was he colluded his idea to bypass the NFLPA. So what my question would be is, was it Roger Goodell who said, let's bypass the NFLPA, or was it the owners who asked Roger Goodell to bypass the NFLPA? That's what
it was. Neither. Roger Goodell put out the idea to cut back on the guarantees on veteran contracts, and he put that out to the owners.
So Roger Goodell did.
Period. That's what happened.
So Roger Goodell put that out to the owners to bypass to cut guaranteed contracts.
There's no proof that they did or didn't do it.
Well, I can say, but I can't say that there's probably proof that he didn't do it, because again, after 22, guaranteed contracts went up. They didn't go down. They didn't stay the same. They didn't go less. No. They went up.
Quarterbacks' guaranteed contracts went up. Other contracts, running backs,
Well, but running backs have been underpaid for a long time.
Since when? 2022?
Since-
2022?
No,
Since 2018.
before that. Yeah,
Probably
before
about
that.
2018.
Yeah, there's been a million conversations for running backs
I
for
remember Ezekiel Elliott getting signed to a huge ass contract. When did Ezekiel Elliott get his?
Well,
contract?
so to this question, this lawsuit, this did go to a lawsuit, and it was found that there was no proof that they colluded. So this actually went to a lawsuit, and it was just discovered that they couldn't find that there was anything.
Hey, is this
wrongdoing.
Eric? Is this Eric asking questions, David, as somebody else? Is this Eric? Hey, Eric, is this you? I agree with Eric.
It could be. It could be.
I'm kidding.
Well, okay.
No,
So do we want to go on this,
but-
or do we want to wrap it up?
No.
What's that?
Katie jumped off. Katie bounced
Yeah, Katie had a roll.
All right. Well, yeah.
Eric's phone. By the way, Eric's phone died. I just want to put it out there. He didn't just bounce. His phone died.
Yeah, his phone died.
But he's
yeah.
got enough power to message you. So I'm not
Well,
believing that bullshit. You're colluding with Eric
Yeah.
because he was punished.
Well, I have a tendency to get under his skin, so it's one of those things.
His phone conveniently died during the James Cook conversation.
Well, it was really the TJ Watt conversation. But
Right.
Listen,
It was
by the way,
tackle in the playoff game that he couldn't take it.
hey, listen, TJ Watt put himself in Eric's phone and his phone held out. It's okay.
Wow.
I'm kind of quick like it. Hey, listen. Hey, good conversation as always. Hey, I what I will do though, because I will go look that stuff up, Sean. I wasn't tracking that, so I wasn't trying to come in here with some level of intelligent conversation regarding this specific topic. Overall, if Goodell did do that, I mean, if that's what the thing is if that is what he did, then he whether or not the owners did it or not, then there should be a conversation, and it should be an issue, right? I mean, if that is the case, and then maybe the NFLPA can get up there and do some things. But
what I would like to know though, and this is the one thing that for myself is what I would like to understand and know is what would be in it for Roger Goodell to have this idea. It would have to come down from an owner for him to have that idea. I mean, Roger Goodell makes his money. He gets $25 million a year from the NFL regardless. What Roger Goodell saying, hey, we need to stop these guaranteed contracts for veterans. I don't know how Roger Goodell benefits by bypassing the NFLPA unless there were owners who were saying, hey, Roger, we need to figure out a way to stop the guarantees.
Yeah, I don't
So
disagree,
I don't know.
Dave.
Here it is. Just David, if he puts us out to the NFL owners, and the NFL owners pay less for veteran talent, and the NFL owners make more, and Roger Goodell gets paid by the NFL owners, what does he have to gain? Fucking money.
kickbacks, right? Oh, and I'm sure.
He's gonna get paid more. He gets paid $44 million a year now.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, so Sean, I agree with that 100%, no doubt. I agree with what David's saying too, 100%, no doubt. So, I think the idea is not that, in my opinion. Again, I am clueless. I have to let me go read it. But in my mind, yes, there's money to be gained by Goodell to do it. But I also think that there's prodding by other people to have him bring it to the table, right? Because at the end of the day, so again, the prodding comes from the owner's side. I think it's a two-way street. He just is going to take the punch in the face. No different. How much stuff has happened over the course of the last 6 years from a ownership perspective across the NFL, where there's just really piss poor ownership, and Goodell can't come out and with Snyder. We know Dan Snyder's a piece of shit, but he doesn't. Goodell doesn't come out and be like, "Hey, Dan Snyder's a piece of shit. He's got to go." He doesn't do that because at that point in time, he still works for that dude, right? Now, once everything was settled and Snyder was booted out, like Goodell said, "Okay, welcome to the new ownership," but he still didn't go against him, right? He didn't talk about the Raiders. He didn't. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, but Goodell still has to play the fiddle.
And again,
but he's a whipping boy. He's getting paid to do that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like, hey, I'm going to pay you
Right.
$44 million a year to look like a fucking dick.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I guess that's my point with Eric is that whether it's Roger Goodell or Sean or Dave or Jeff, who's the commissioner, what we're going to do is we're going to play the fiddle because we can be ethically cleansed and all that good stuff, and then, well,
but here's the other thing that you don't look at. Okay, there are multiple players who are represented by said agent, Drew Rosenhaus. I have 10 guys who are due new contracts. So guess what? All my 10 guys are going to hold out because I'm going to milk them for every penny I can get for my guys. That's what an agent's job is. But isn't that a form of collusion by saying, hey, my guys aren't going to sign unless this guy gets this, this guy gets this, this guy gets this, this guy gets this. And so
sure.
Right.
You know, Bill Poley was talking about that, Dave, 2 weeks ago, and that is an interesting thing. And the NFL actually cracks down hard on that stuff, even though it happens. It still happens, just like it happens when Goodell is colluding too. I mean, collusion. I hate that word. Hey, the question where whoever was that asked about Spygate. Yeah, sure, the integrity of the game. Listen, I'm not sure what the oversight of Spygate or any other fraudulent thing that takes away the integrity of the game by admitting integrity is shook. It only lends to less credibility. I mean, he could look great doing it to be like, man, he's a stand-up guy. However, the NFL writ large does not look credible, right? And so I know that whether it be Spygate, whether it be Deflategate, whether it be penalties and pass interferences and Mahomes getting all the calls and I don't know, TJ Watt getting held on every play by one player because he can't get double teamed or whatever it is. Sure, it could be clean. I think you know that goes back into the officiating conversations. And can we get full-time officials? Can we get well-trained officials? Can we incentivize officials and then take away some shit like money when they make poor calls? Yeah, I mean, I'd love all that stuff. But you know, where are we at? I don't know. But hey, great job, Sean. I know you went about 48 minutes longer than you wanted to because you've been trying to jump off the screen for an hour. But I
understand.
appreciate
No, but actually, this conversation was good.
Yeah,
I think people have thought about it a lot. You know, David, the only thing I'm going to say to your comment is, when has the agent ever said my 10 guys aren't going to play until you give them all this? That doesn't happen. I understand what you were saying.
It does happen though.
Well, okay.
No, like, okay, so you have agents who have players.
Name
okay,
one.
We want X amount of money. Okay.
I understand for one player.
No,
they're not going to be 10 players.
Let's look at it's all a game of. I'm saying for example, you have Drew Rosenhaus. You don't think, and even if it's not one agent, what if it's 10 agents who all want to make money because that's what a job of an agent is? So hey, Drew, hey, we stop. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. So you got Lee Steinberg, you got Drew Rosenhaus, you got CBA agency for these players, and they're saying, okay, you represent TJ Watt, I represent Myles Garrett, I represent Dexter Lawrence or whoever, Micah Parsons. My guys are holding out because Trey Hendrickson wants to get paid. Myles Garrett got paid. Trey Hendrickson wants his money. TJ Watt wants his money. So they all jockey for position. And now, Myles Garrett got $30 million guaranteed. Well, I look at my stats. My stats were better than him. I want 31. Okay, TJ Watt, I want 32. And all these agents have conversations throughout the year, and they all talk about getting their money for their client. Isn't that colluding to make sure that they reset the market for defensive ends or for quarterbacks or for wide receivers? That's all resetting your market. How do we reset the market?
But here's the good thing, Dave, and so I don't disagree with what you're saying. That's hypothetical. It could be factual. Who knows, right? We know that a market gets set, and then like for instance, Myles Garrett getting paid is exactly why Hendrickson and T.J. Watt are sitting out right now. We know that. Like there is no doubt, and Micah Parsons is in the same boat. And so now they're working to get to that number, right? But the good thing is the NFL made it so that there's a 3% earning for the agent max, right? So no matter what they sign for, obviously 3% of 40 is bigger than 3% of 20, right? But at the end of the day, back in the day when there wasn't that, there was a lot of bullshit and then taking advantage of and moving things around and then actually being not so fair to the player because they wanted to be like, no, you're not going to sign here because I need to get my money over here, right? And that's kind of how it went. But now there's that 3% thing. But yeah, I think, but again, because collusion is, I hate the word, right? But I think that Drew Rosenhaus and all of them have relationships, and of course they're going to talk because they want to know what is your player trying to get. Well, we're in negotiations right now. Well, we'll wait till you get your done. Now they might not say the number, right? Because they want an advantage because they want Myles Garrett to be the top paid player, which he is until TJ Watt signs, and TJ Watt's going to get paid more than Myles Garrett, and then of course Hendrickson's going to get paid, and I think that's the part, and I think Hendrickson gets paid more than TJ Watt, and I think it happens. Hendrickson is the same age as TJ Watt, like they're exactly the same age, and one of those players has been hurt every year at least. Right? So anyway, we'll see. It'll be.
Yeah, me and Jeff are colluding to keep Sean on the. Prove
yeah.
it.
Hey, Sean. By the way, I'm gonna screenshot our text messages that we've been texting back and forth. Do you think we can make it to 2 hours? We got a poll. when is Sean just gonna drop off? I said 1:53 and 25 seconds. Dave's got 1:56. No, I'm kidding. No, we're good.
I was about to, but you've done something to me that totally screwed me up, and I'll talk to you about it after we go off air. But anyway.
I thought you were going to say brought up interesting conversation. I thought that
you brought up great conversation. I loved it. I'm going to conclude the show with this. Jeffrey is 100% right. Not that the word collusion was invented, but that's when it became mainstream. Yeah. So anyway, we will drop a little bit of knowledge on you in an hour and 52 minutes. All right, so we will. You know what? Let's take next week off. It's right before 4th of July. We'll come back in 2 weeks, and we can start talking about training camps and what's going on.
All right, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, man.
We will see you 2 weeks from the couch.
Later.